Super Bowl coach, 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl, and he don't know he's in the room. How you doing? What is that? It's all right. I don't know how old young Zander is. I think he's 32. So half this guy's life, this guy's watched Brandon Graham play ball, which is pretty dope. Okay? Half his life, he's seen him. He acts 32. He's 27. Holy Madon. My God. Let me say this to you, man. It's pretty dope that that's his favorite player. Let's bring our guy in from Birds 365. They're absolutely killing it. He is my friend, Big Z, Zander Krause. How you doing?
What's up, Big Sills? You got the big wooden spoon out today, brother. You're stirring the gravy, man, like my grandmother used to do in the kitchen. Stirring the gravy.
Hey, I'm listening to a great speech, and you know what? I was like, why does that always hit me? Why do I notice stupid shit like that? And I was like, how about this? At least give it to me. It's an odd omit.
I'm giving you a lot more than that. I'm giving you a lot more than the chat gave you. Wait a second. You missed the biggest part. By the way, I'm not clowning. I don't want to taint the speech with this. All right. But this is the Big Sill show. This is what you do. All right. So I get it. But he's sitting right in front of him.
Right in front of him.
You're telling me Brandon Graham went on a 40-minute speech looking at the coach and didn't mention him once? I mean, come on.
I don't even know what to go. Where you know what? I'm not going anywhere with it. I just thought it was
it's an auto omit. It's an auto omit for sure. It is. I mean, he played 15 years. He's been with Nick for 5 years. Third of his career.
Yeah,
it's a long time. I mean, that's
And a lot of his resume is through Nick. They won 2 NFC titles and a Super Bowl together.
Someone said accidentally. I would wonder, but that was a scripted speech, man. That was.
Yeah, he had it. He goes, I wrote some things down here. I'm like, I'm sure he'll deviate off that speech. Sure enough, man. And, hey,
look at Anthony Lear. Xander, don't help him. Anthony, I'm just giving you my honest opinion. It's a little bit of a weird omission, brother. I mean, that's all.
What'd you make of it?
Amazing. Love him. One of my favorite players of all time. Impactful person, impactful human, impactful player. Kind of embodies the story of Philadelphia through and through. When you think about his career, has really, he's one of those guys who wasn't born here, but it almost feels like he's been here forever. He really is Mr. Philadelphia. My favorite Eagle of all time. I said that earlier on my show, and I know everybody's going to have different favorite Eagles, but I have a specific reason for why he's my favorite Eagle of all time. I mean, you can name Dahl. Everybody has their favorite Eagle. McNabb, Dahl, Randall, whoever you want it to be. Exactly. From my era, though, I was 11 years old, turning 12 soon when Brandon Graham got drafted. I vividly remember every stage of his career, and he's the one player I can say that for now. I really vividly remember it. So I love him.
Did you grow into liking him?
Yeah, I mean, I was super young. Like his first 4 years when he was kind of, I was 11 years old. So like up to 15 years old, every athlete you love when you're that young.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You don't really hate people, or hate players, or they don't piss you off as much when you're younger. But so I loved him, but I'm more like the man he is. I'm more like the stories that you hear from the way he treats people. I've met Brandon Graham 3, 4, 5 times, several occasions. Always treats you. He's the kind of guy. That slogan of like how someone treats the janitor. He's like the epitome of like treats the janitor like the CEO. He is that guy. So I love him for that reason. But also 2 Super Bowls. Also the most impactful play in Eagles history, arguably, with the strip sack on Tom Brady. To get our first. So what a great Eagle, man. What a great Eagle and a great day for him.
And he was playing great this year heading into that Ram. I thought he played great in the Rams game. I mean, I got to tell you, man, I thought, would you not agree earlier in the year when they started giving him more reps, you could have made the argument that of the top 3 defensive players, they were Carter, Bond, and Brandon Graham.
Yeah,
Slay
John said it this
probably
morning.
too, Q, right?
Yeah, you remember how good he was before he got
Yeah,
injured?
he was
I
doing
mean,
great.
it's funny because it's like he gave us everything at the first, 7 games or however long he played in the season, and he was excellent. And then he got hurt. I don't want to say this, like I don't want this to come out wrong, but kind of got hurt at the perfect time
Yeah.
for the young boys, to be ready to take over for him the next year. If BG never got hurt last year, you might look at Nolan, Jalix, some of these other guys right now and be like, well, I don't know. I think we've learned a lot more about those players. So I think it's a good thing from that perspective. And he came back for the Super Bowl. So the whole story, man, it really worked for BG this year.
Is it? And I said, this is kind of like the changing of the guard a little bit here, where like the last couple of years, you're going from Jason Kelsey to Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, really the last staple. And that whole thing is Lane Johnson. They extended him. I mean, dude, of all the guys you extend, you go like this. Well, what's the surest thing on my team? It's that guy. I mean, that's the guy you give money to, and you don't feel bad about it because you know what that guy has done with his consistency. So, I mean, you're starting to see once Lane goes, it's a brand new roster of like the new now Eagle guys that Howie. I mean, there's nobody in there from the days of Andy Reid. There's very few guys from Doug Peterson that are left in there too as well. I mean, it's really kind of the changing of the guard. All right, let me throw this topic out at you.
It is. You're right, though, by the way. And once Lane hangs it up, it's going to be the real end of an era.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
So here we go. Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, KJ Henry, Bryce Huff.
Why did you stuff KJ Henry into the middle? He's the sixth man.
Angela Linguini, Joshua Ino Uchea, Uchana Mahisis. Look at these guys. These are your edge rushers. How you feeling about them?
Nolan Smith better than Josh Sweat. I feel great about number one.
Oh,
number two could use some work, but I think Jalix Hunt's going to come on this year in a big way. I think he's going to be 6+ sacks this year at least, maybe more than that. Could get to double digits depending on how much he turns. No, I really like Jalix Hunt. I really think he has a chance to break out. I'm not even kidding about that. But
he's
the rest of them,
than I thought.
The rest of them are guys. I mean, they're guys. Let's see what they can do, including Bryce Hufflepuff. Let's see what he does. What do you think Bryce Huff will be this year?
Better.
He can't get worse, right? I mean, he legitimately can't get worse.
Well, I would say this. He's going to get better, and I'll tell you why. He's going to get better because Vic's going to know how to use him better. I think Vic didn't know. Well, you can't put him in on first and second down, homie. You got to put him in on third down. Now, let me ask you this. Here's something to think about. If you get production on first and second down out of another guy, and you rotate this Bryce Huff in, and he gets you 10 sacks in a 475 snap roll, and he gets you 10 sacks on the 10th ranked defense, you feeling good about that? I am. I'm feeling a lot better.
That's what you need from one of these guys. Like, that's where I'm like, we're all in a little bit of over. Yeah. I mean, if one of them can produce at all, I think you're in a good spot. But no, they need. Here's the reality: the edge rush room is still not special. I mean, it's not. Let's be real here. It's not. There's no guy. There's no one that's people would build their defense around. There's nothing like that right now. You have a bunch of not yet. No, not yet at all. And you have a bunch of prospects or a bunch of 1 year guys that you're taking a shot on that you'll see how they pan out on. But I think they're still going to draft a guy, honestly. My edge is still my number one pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I still want an edge in first round, but we'll see.
Well, they're telling you, Zander, by all the signings and how many people they've signed at that position, that's their number one concern. Their number one concern. It's funny. People think because you signed so many guys, you think they're not going to sign an edge. Shit, man, because they signed so many edge rushers, that they got to how about this? I don't know. Concern is the right word for them. It would probably be more questions that they have at that respected position. If you are in love with Nolan Smith, okay, you can't be in love with starting Jalix Hunt or Bryce Huff.
No, yeah, you're not in love with that.
At that other edge. to me, Xander, I want a guy who's about 6'5". Now, let me ask you this. Would you rather start one of these guys or a rookie who's going to be taken at 32? Who do you feel more comfortable with?
Well, it depends. Depends how the board falls. Like 32 is no guarantee you're going to get. I mean, I've seen like 8 edge rushers go. Like you could lose a lot of edge rushers. How many edge rushers are projected to go in the first round right now? Like I'd have to go and look.
7.
Let me look up Daniel Jeremiah. He just released his mock draft 3.0, and newsflash, he had the Eagles drafting Shamar Stewart in that. Yeah, so he's got 1, 2. I'm telling you, dude, there's so many edges that are going to go in this draft
because it's a needed position and it's a paid position.
3, 4, 5, 6 edge rushers going in the first round. So if you can get if you can get one of those, I'd feel pretty good. I'd feel pretty good about that. But still, would you rather have the number 2 defensive tackle in the draft or the number 7 edge rusher in the draft? I don't know. It depends on who you like better, how the board falls. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do in round 1 with some of the losses.
I wrote these. I was going to do it. I'll do it right now here. Here's the 9 guys. I go from about 15 down to 9. I get down to 6. And then prior to the draft, I kind of have 3 dudes. Then I'd land on 1 prior to the draft. So I was talking before we had Gary come up. I got 3 positions, DT, edge, OT, that I think they go at 32. I got Walter Nolan, Ole Miss. I got Derek Harmon, Oregon. These are defensive tackles. And I got Kenneth Grant from Michigan. The Michigan guy kind of worries me a little because if he's anything like Mozzie, and he kind of looks a little like him at times, he's a little more active and he's bigger and he's quicker, which is big. I actually like that Oregon kid. Also, too, that Derek Harmon. And like Walter Nolan because he played at Ole Miss and he was a force at Ole Miss. So,
yeah, I love Walter Nolan and I love that Derek Harmon. I'm not as sold on Kenneth Grant.
Me too. I don't know why, because I saw him kind of evaporate last year. The year before, I thought he was better. Edge rush. The kid from BC, how do you say his name? Donovan, what's his name?
Izaraku.
Izaraku?
Yeah, Izaraku.
I watched some tape on him.
Yeah. If he falls, I don't think he's going to fall, but we'll see.
He'll probably be around 15.
Yeah, I could see him going top 20, yeah.
How about James Pierce if he rolls down there because of the quarterbacks?
I think that would be a guy I'd like.
6'5", 245.
Yeah, so he's a little undersized in terms of weight, but he's got speed, and that's that Vic Fangio mold.
Put that on, though.
Yeah, you can put that on. So that Vic Fangio mold, too. I don't know. And the latest mock, and I like Daniel Jeremiah because, he's kind of a former front office guy, so he typically has a pretty good gauge on it. He doesn't even have James Pierce in round 1 in his latest mock. So James Pierce might be a guy that falls down.
If he goes into 2, I'm trading out and grabbing him.
Yeah, I'd probably sit there and take him at 32. Why trade back?
Because I might get another first rounder next year. Trading out with a team that needs a pick down there at 32.
Well, here's the thing. It depends. If the quarterbacks fall and Jackson Dart or someone is down there, then that could be the case. But I don't see that outside of that.
And I've got Michael Williams, Georgia. Hey, let me ask you this. So my edge rushers, I've got the kid from BC, James Pierce, and Michael Williams, the kid from Georgia. You got a problem with all the Georgia guys on the team? I don't care where they're from. They could be from Mars.
No, what the hell? I don't.
Why wouldn't you have a lot of guys from Georgia? Georgia's the number 1 recruiting.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia's a great football school, man. That's a great program. Kirby Smart's done an excellent job. I don't care what you think of the dude. He's not my favorite in terms of personality, but dude, look at what he's done. I mean, come on, that program is one of the best programs in college football, and it's being more and more proven every single year when Georgia players are playing well in the NFL, playing well at the next level. So, I mean, look at Jalen Carter, an All-Pro last year. Nolan Smith is emerging. I mean, I think that doesn't bother me at all. But I will say this. Think about this. You could have Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Azeez Ojulari. All 4 defensive linemen could be from Georgia.
And then draft Michael Williams, and they all played together.
Yeah, right. Exactly. With N'Kobe Dean at linebacker and Keely Ringo in corner, man, you got Georgia boys everywhere.
You know, and you know what? Like I said, I mean, how many games have they lost in the last 5 years? 3?
Not many.
I mean, they have not lost a ton of ball games back there. So, I mean, why wouldn't you go with the guys with the best program in the country? I mean, the last 5 years, that program couldn't have lost more than 5 ball games, 3, 4 games, so 5 games.
I know they lost to Alabama once, so counting for there.
Offensive tackle. I got Josh Simmons, Ohio State. I got to reach here. Charles Grant, the kid from William and Mary, who supposedly is the strongest guy and the fastest guy and one of the best metric guys that they have in the draft. And then Kelvin Banks from Texas. Do you think they're going to go DT, edge, or OT at 32 if they don't move?
I do. I think maybe the secondary has come into play with the losses and with some of the changes there, but I have a hard time believing they're going to go down that road. I really do. I know people like the Eminwari and they like some of those other dudes, but I don't think they're going to go that route. I would say defensive line. Anywhere on the defensive line is I'm putting an 80% chance they're going defensive line in my opinion. And then I would say offensive tackle, but especially now with the departure of Mekhi Becton. But the other thing is, you never know what their plan is. Like they might have a plan for a guy there or somebody on the open market or something to bring offensive linemen in. We have had major success with turning guys into better than they were supposed to be on that line. So, even Landon Dickerson was supposed to be a center. We turned him into an unreal guard. You got Mailata, obviously. You got Becton. Steen is still in the wings. You still have that Michigan guy. What's that guy's name? Trevor Keegan. He's still there. And then Kenyon Green. So you got a lot of bodies. Now it depends how you feel about those bodies, but I don't know. I'm not sold they'd go offensive lineman because of that reason.
Do you believe that Vic Fangio this year has more questions or less questions than he did a year ago when he made the number 1 defense? And like what Sue said, to expand on that, can he do it again?
Yeah, it's going to be harder to do it again here, I think. But it was hard last year too. You remember, man, we were going into that season. All of us were like, if they can be top 15, if they can be top 15, like we did not expect this, and we came into the year and it started off a little bit shaky, but, I think do you have more questions than last year or less? Because think about last year. Remember, you had Cooper, you had Quinion, you had
the entire linebacking room was a question.
The entire linebacking room, even the edge rushers. I mean, you had Sweat, but Milton, you didn't know on Milton.
Was Josh going to bounce back? Shit, they made him take a pay cut.
Exactly. So, I don't know, man. Darius Slay was getting older. You didn't know who your second corner was going to be. I mean, you could argue last year there was more questions, but I think this year is going to be just as hard to have that type of success.
I brought this up earlier, and this last year before I let you go here. So the guys that are going to take over, Jalix Hunt, total in all the games, 20 games, had 321 snaps. Bryce Huff last year at 298. Tristan McCullum at 255. Keely Ringo had 125. Sidney Brown had 83. You think this is more a question of reps than it is a question of talent and getting them on the field? I mean, Milton had 629. Josh had 775. Slay had 900 snaps.
Yeah.
Isaiah Rodgers even had 412. Gardner Johnson, dude, 1,119 snaps he had. That is, and you're asking a guy with 255 snaps to take his role. That's a lot of question. Even Brandon had 311.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you think it's just a lack of reps?
Yeah, I mean that doesn't mean that
It doesn't mean they're not good. No, it doesn't.
no, but it also doesn't mean that just because they haven't been out there doesn't mean they're going to seize the moment and be as good as everybody hopes that they're going to be. I mean, there's certainly question marks there. You look at Sidney Brown, Tristan McCollum. I don't know who's going to play there. It's going to be Sidney Brown. I'm just telling you from the inside track. I mean, that's who the organization wants it to be, and they're going to give him every chance to win that job over guys like Tristan McCollum. So, I don't know. You're not wrong. I mean, that's a lot of uncertainty for sure. I mean, how about that? CJ Gardner-Johnson, what do you have? Almost 1,200 snaps? That's crazy, man. That's a lot of freaking snaps in a football season.
1,119 snaps.
Yeah, so 1,100 plus. That's pretty wild. Sills, we talked about this before. That whole corner of that defensive secondary, right? Slay's gone and CJ Gardner-Johnson's gone. So, you got to replace that, or else good quarterbacks will try and pick that apart. But I don't know. People are trying to convince me on this Sidney Brown dude. I'm starting to see it a little bit, what people are seeing in him, but I don't know. He's not my favorite. I'm not going to lie to you. Just in terms of me thinking that his game is going to translate to an every down NFL player, talking 1,100 snaps. I don't see that. I see him as a specialist type of guy right now that brings physicality and anger and stuff, but I don't know. We'll see. He could prove me wrong, and I'll happily eat my crow on him, but we'll see.
Did John tell you if Lane's new contract had any money freed up on the cap?
Yeah,
or was that just a gift that they did because, they don't really do anything?
It wasn't a gift. They don't do that for gifts.
Yeah, because they do shit like that to try to free money
that
up.
wasn't a gift. They're giving Lane more money, and I'm sure they're opening up some cap space now, adding more void years to the back. You know what they do. I mean, and Lane's the guy they do it with more often than anybody. So he did get $30 million more of guaranteed money, so he's definitely going to be here longer. Yeah, I mean, he's getting paid. I mean, he's going to be here for at least the next 2 seasons. At least the next 2 seasons, which is great news, I think, for us.
Last thing, I heard this yesterday from Alonzo Highsmith. Don't be shocked if Dallas Goedert gets traded around the draft.
Yeah, you think even then? Because I was thinking it would be post June 1.
Because the money?
Yeah, because right now they already used their 2 designations, so they can't designate any trade as post June 1, and the savings, they lose money if they trade him before June 1st. They lose money. They lose $9 million in the cap. They're not going to do that. That doesn't make sense.
Way.
Yeah,
no way.
So they're going to wait till June 1st. They're going to wait till June.
Then that's a cut. Nobody's going to pick $15 million up for a guy who missed 25%.
That's true, especially after the draft. Yeah, that's true. I mean,
you've got your resources set. You've got your cap pretty much set after that. Where are you going to put $15 million?
Yeah, you're right. He's probably going to end up cut. What's his contract if he gets cut? Let me go look.
I thought I saw, I could be wrong. I think it's $3 million against the cap if he's whacked after June 1. Oh, no, there's no owed money. There's no owed money to him.
Yeah, no, there's no owed money. So if you release him post 6-1, you just take on a dead cap hit of $5 million this year and next year, and then your savings this year is almost $7 million in cap. Now, if you cut him before June 1, you're only saving $1 million, and your dead cap's $12 million. So you're not doing that. They're going to do a post 1 release probably on him.
Wow.
If they move on.
Why wouldn't you just bring him back?
Because here's the issue: they're trying to bring him back, but they don't want to do long term. They want to do 1 year.
You think they want him to take a pay cut?
No, they want him to do 1 year, one or 2 years max. But they want it out probably after next year. Dallas is like, I'm 30. I got 1 chance left for a big contract. So he doesn't want to go into this season with a 1 year deal. He's not going to get paid the right money. Here's the thing: he might be doing that anyway. If he gets cut post June 1, how much money is he going to get paid in the open market? He might get a 1 year deal.
No, but he might get years though. But he's looking for years.
Wait, you think he's going to get a 3-year, $36 million deal?
I didn't say that much. I didn't say that much.
Well, what's he want then?
I think he wants a signing bonus.
I think he wants years, and
he wants that guaranteed money because he's not owning it this year.
Yeah, he definitely wants guaranteed money, but I don't know. Primo says I'll trade him for draft picks. The problem with Primo is you trade him before the draft, bro. You're losing money big time.
And nobody's picking up that contract on a guy who's hurt.
I'm looking at it right now. If you do a June 6th trade, you lose money. You're losing money.
No way.
And you're taking on a $12 million dead cap hit.
No way.
We're not doing
it. I think we got just a couple super chats in here.
Yeah, no. Let's get to them.
Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button here.
Sydney family, what's up, brother? Have faith in Vic and Stout. To do more magic, guys. I have faith. John and Sills don't. You ain't talking to me.
What do you? No. I don't know what he's going to do if he can do that again like that.
Yeah, and you're taking it objectively. You're fine to think that fans are going to think they're going to pull him out, or fans are always going to think they're going to get the best.
There's one thing that I do dig that the Eagles have done with every single guy that they've signed. I don't think there's a guy that they've signed at edge who's not was or has been projected as a first or second rounder. Every single one of these guys were high prospects, weren't they, at other organizations? And I'm supposed to believe the Giants know what they're doing. So this guy that they just got from New York, I mean, they just let go Barkley. How do I know that they're still being stupid up there? I mean, the New York Giants are a train wreck. Maybe that guy does fit in down here. I don't know. I mean, of all the guys, I like the running back they signed and the kid from the Giants they signed.
Aziz, yeah.
Yeah. Those are the two guys I see something.
I like Uche a little bit more than you do. I know you're having fun with him, but I do like him, actually. Mad Dio says, BG thanked him before the press conference. All right, Dio. Everybody wants to spin that sucker.
Yeah.
Blaine Miner, Sill's my favorite troublemaker. Love you, brother.
Hey, I'm just saying, I mean, of all the things, like if I was going to give like a eulogy at something, and I'm going to sit there and I go, hey, I really like to thank everybody, and I forget my old lady. I don't know. You know, somebody might go, hey, didn't mention his old lady. How come he didn't mention his old lady? He didn't have a problem. What do you have a problem with her? I mean, maybe that's my Italian in me. Everybody, there he is sitting there like the Mona Lisa right in front of him, and he doesn't say anything. There's Nick Sirianni. I want to thank the cookie guy, the food guy. I want to thank the parking lot attendant. Hey, Big Dom. He mentioned Big Dom. Big Dom, Howie, Jeffrey. There's Nick right there. No, Nick. I don't know. You tell me.
Sitting right next to him. That makes sense.
The only guy, hey, Mr. Irrelevant. I don't know. Shit. You know me, Zander. I said things just pop up. I see everyone goes.
I don't think you're wrong on this. It's a little odd. I mean, I'm still. Are we sure he didn't mention Nick?
He didn't. I listened to it again.
You're sure?
Yeah. Nope. No mention of Nick.
Big Stills isn't leading me down a straight path, is
he? He mentioned them after and before, but he didn't mention him at the press conference when he wrote shit down, and he had everything. He had everything down on a piece of paper. All the people he loved. Shit, he even mentioned Zander. He had all the people on there, all the guys he loved. He didn't mention Nick. He just won a Super Bowl a month and a half ago with the guy. What the fuck?
I know. Spent 5 years with him. All right.
5 years with him every day of his life, not at home. He's spending, he sees this guy and he don't mention him. I don't know. I think that's weird. But that's Big Sills. I'm weird. There you go.
Yeah, no doubt. We're all weird, brother. That's what makes the world go around. All right, that's all of them. We got the
All right, man. I appreciate you. Hey, Zander, keep kicking ass down there, man. I mean, you guys are doing a great job, man. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, Sills. Thanks, everybody. Hit that like button on your way out.
You got it. That is Zander Krause. Make sure you check him out with John McMullen each and every single day in the mornings there with Birds 365.